Hey guys, Nick here. Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick's MCU channel. What if Obadiah turned good solo? What if? And before we get started, be sure to check out this channel, the main channel, and all channels for the Omniverse of Nick What If content. And like and subscribe while you're at it. And with all that said, let's begin. So if you guys don't know who Obadiah is, he is the first Iron Man villain, the Ironmonger. He was basically a father figure to Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. But when he came back and wanted to sell and basically get rid of all of his weapons, Obadiah didn't like that too much. And he was responsible for one of the biggest memes in Marvel history. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. Yeah. But he would turn on Tony and make the Ironmonger suit, and he was an extreme novice. And he was killed by Tony basically outsmarting him to electrocution and vaporization. But what if he wasn't? What if he turned good or had something more for Obadiah Stan's story? What would happen? Let's get started. So we get the first Iron Man movie. Tony has his accident, gets the Iron Man prototype suit from the box of scraps, might I add. And then we all skip to Obadiah turning on Tony, making the Ironmonger suit, getting to about to kill Pepper, getting outsmarted by Tony, but this time, when he gets electrocuted, taking a page out of the fact of what the actor said could have happened and what was supposed to happen, they open up the armor and find nothing in there. But I'm going to change it. They find him in there, heavily injured, and throw him in jail. And Pepper really thinks that they should have put him down, but Tony says, it's not like he's going to do any harm, especially in the state he's in. With that armor at our disposal, what could that old man do? And even Rhodey has concerns about this, but Tony says, if it becomes a problem, or if he becomes an ally, I will deal with it. It's over. We're fine. Skip all the way to Civil War. We're getting a big time jump. Tony knows that the kid, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he is not going to be enough to deter Cap away from protecting Bucky and just fighting him. So he decides to do something he would have never thought he would do, and someone he hasn't seen in a long time. He goes to the prison where Obadiah is still being kept and tells him everything about what has happened. And Obadiah agrees, a much more changed and better Obadiah, and agrees if it means getting out of jail. So the Ironmonger is once again set out, but this time on Tony's team for Civil War. So Hawkeye fights Black Widow, Sam and Bucky fight Spider-Man, Vision and Scarlet Witch fight, and Tony and War Machine team on Captain America. And Cap, he never would have expected Tony to recruit a convict, let alone a third Iron Man. And this just makes him want to protect Bucky and, like, get Tony off of him even more, and thinks that Tony just pulled a low move to, like, get what he wanted done. And Ironmonger, or Obadiah, he is not the novice he once was. And he proves this by his better utilization of the suit. Then, giant Ant-Man makes this scene, but it all pretty much goes the same from that point until Vision is about to shoot at Rhodey for basically being on Sam's tail and everything like that. And Cap and Bucky still escape, but this time, whenever Vision shoots up, Rhodey is not the one that gets hit. Ironmonger is the one that gets hit. But because of a bigger suit, and different angling of the shot, most likely, and just overall, like, the situation, it doesn't render him into the coma that it did Rhodey. Instead, it completely destabilizes the suit itself and renders it just shattered, useless, and broken. And Obadiah, once again, heavily injured. So, with nothing else left to do, especially with Spider Man, Tony unfortunately has to escort Obadiah back to jail and tells him, "Good to see that you changed and was actually on my side this time. The next time we'll meet, you'll actually be out of here for good." And all Obadiah can do as he's being escorted back into his prison cell is look back at Tony, nod or say okay or wave goodbye or something before he is put back in his cell. And Tony tells Rhodey, who he's glad that he's okay in this timeline, "Leave this to me, I'll deal with it." And we all know how that goes out. And this time, whenever he's injured on the ground saying, "Give me that shield, my father made that shield," Cap is like, "You recruited a convict to help you stop me. And you tried to kill my friend. And pretty much tried to kill me, Tony. You think you deserve something from your father? I respected your father. But Tony, no part of me respects you anymore. You are a shell of what a hero should have been. I was right about you the second that we met against Loki in New York. And I thought that you saving everybody, you were doing it because you were a good person. No. You were doing it because it only worked out for you. Goodbye, Tony. The shield stays where it belongs." And we get to Infinity War, where Tony, Strange, Shang, and Bruce, they all go to meet Thanos' men in the city. War Machine is there since he's not in the coma, and Doctor Strange fights him off, but Tony knows this ain't gonna be enough, and he's gonna have to do what he did all those years ago and ask for help. So he flies as fast as he can while Strange and War Machine distract Thanos' men, and he lands at the prison and once again shakes hands with Obadiah, saying that, "I need your help again. Think we can actually get you out of prison this time." And with no armor of the Ironmonger, Obadiah rematerializes the ideas, concept, and overall just everything into a new, stronger, faster, better, and deadlier new suit. Much more giant, with a different color scheme, and much different, ominous, deadly add-ons, with a giant scythe and a giant spiked mace being the main two. Basically, no Ironmonger could stand up to what this one is now. Spider-Man goes to help, but War Machine knocks him out because he cannot be involved in this. Tony would not like that, let alone the family he has left. So, Tony, Strange, War Machine, and Obadiah all go to space. And they meet with the Guardians and fight Thanos, but with a much, much stronger adversary or friend on their side. Getting Thanos restrained is far quicker and easier. And when Star-Lord starts to freak out, everyone restrains him as the glove is taken off, and then Obadiah slices Thanos' head off, throws it up in the air with his scythe, and then slams it down with his giant mace hand. Basically a Dr. Gero bloodier and much more brutal kill if this were in Dragon Ball. So with this, there's no branching of timelines, there's no snap, and honestly, a much more peaceful and much more chaotically ended version of events. And Obadiah is pleased to hear that Tony is releasing him from here for good. And they hug it out, showing that if Obadiah turned good, it really could have mended past strainings on relationships and made Obadiah into a much more interesting character than anyone would have expected. So we end the Obadiah story. I know, probably not as long or in depth as you guys thought, but there's only so much that you can do with Obadiah. And honestly, I say I gave him a really fair and pretty decent and sick run. Pretty much just like Whiplash. There's only so much that you could do to work it in with his character, especially him turning good or surviving. It's like, yeah, he was the first Iron Man villain, but still. With all that said, it pretty much just closes off any kind of timeline arcs and really puts a stomp on Thanos in a way that honestly befits Ironmonger or, the new Ironmonger or Obadiah. And really, the story was just about, like always, giving a character like Obadiah more of a chance to shine and really make something of himself. So, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys liked this story, and see you guys for What If Negan Wasn't Saw, and the next two stories after, as the Omniverse continues to grow.